All right, y'all. What's going on? What's going on? It's Combo Breaker 99 back with another quick breakdown prediction for Fight Week. This is Fight Week. I mean, we only got what, a couple more days? Yeah, about 2 more days. Fight Week. You know, I'm looking forward to this flyweight fight, y'all. Got the number 4 Jennifer Maia taking on the number 13 Manon Fiorot. Ooh, that's a big jump from Manon Fiorot, ain't it? I mean, as y'all know, Manon was supposed to. She was supposed to be taking on Jessica I, about 2 or 3 weeks back now, right? With beginning of March, but Jessica I pulled out of the fight. So they gave her the next best thing, which would be Jennifer Maia, a step up in competition, facing off against a top 5 fighter. That's a big task for Manon Fiorot. Very big task, much bigger than the Jessica I fight. And I'm not going to lie, like in the beginning, I thought that was the good progression for Manon Fiorot. I said, okay, she's going to get a top 10, which is what she needed. But Jessica I pulled out. Everybody else was taken. So if you want to fight, you don't want to stay inactive. You got to go for the next best thing. And I think it is more of a gamble, but hey, at the same time, this is your chance to shine. For Manon Fiorot, if your skills are what they are, and if everybody feels like you could stop Jessica I think her skills are enough to go in there and handle a number 4 fighter like Jennifer Maia. This is the time to get Jennifer Maia. Jennifer Maia's coming off a loss to Caitlin Chookagian. Before that, she had a very, very close victory over Jessica I herself, which that fight, a lot of people saw could have gone either way. They thought Jessica I won that fight. Before that, she lost to Valentina Shevchenko. So as of right now, Jennifer Maia is number 4, but she doesn't really have the best track record. I mean, aside from her, her being really strong, physically strong and durable, and having a lot of good skill sets, she hasn't really been coming throughout her past 3 fights. Granted, she submitted JoJo, but JoJo's ground game is nowhere on the level of Jennifer Maia. Before that, she dominated Roxanne Modafferi, right? So, Jennifer Maia does have a lot of skills, but she hasn't really been executing a lot of these skills in her past 3 fights. So for somebody like Manon Fiorot, this is her time to capitalize. Manon Fiorot got a lot of good tools. I think she has more than enough tools to do what a lot of these other fighters did, but at the same time, possibly get a stoppage, right? She has enough of those tools to do that, but we just haven't seen her tested against this UFC level of experience. So now's the time, if she really wants to shine, that midsection fighter that she was supposed to take up, pulled out. So hey, the next best thing is coming. So that's when you got to jump on that opportunity and say, oh wow, I'm getting something better. Well, time for me to perform at an even higher level, right? So want to get to that title shot, Manon Fiorot has to go in here and really, really look good against this test and pass with flying colors. So let's start with Manon Fiorot, number 13 Manon Fiorot, what she needs to do in this fight. Keys to victory for Manon Fiorot, volume. I think volume is going to be a very, very big part of winning this fight. I think Manon Fiorot just needs to keep combinations. I think she needs to stay consistent with her jab, her straight left hand. She needs to stay consistent with combinations in this fight just to make sure that she can stay up on the scorecards against Jennifer Maia and keep her out of a rhythm. A good straight left hand will keep her off balance. Same way Valentina Shevchenko did. You have to kind of step in the range, pop that straight left hand off whenever Jennifer Maia tries to come back in and step back out of range, or, land a good 1-2, end it with a good leg kick. So there's a couple blueprints out here on how to beat her, and I think Manon has a mixture of what Caitlin and Valentina have going into this fight. Of course, not at that high level, but Manon throws combinations like Caitlin, but she's also a southpaw like Valentina Shevchenko, where she could capitalize off that, leaping in with a right hook and stepping behind Jennifer Maia, just kind of throw her off with these type of shots. So I think volume is going to be a big part, keeping a lot of combinations and punches in the face of Jennifer Maia, ending it with leg kicks and just staying out of range. Just staying out of range and turning Jennifer Maia, because like I said, Caitlin Chookagian didn't have very much power on her shots, but she got the respect of Jennifer Maia all day. And I think Manon has more power on her shots. So the more she throws volume with the power she has on her shots, she'll definitely bust up Jennifer Maia. At the same time, get her respect, right? Another thing, got to use that signature side kick to the body. You know what I mean? I think that side kick is going to be very important. Granted, Jennifer Maia might try to grab that. She might try to grab that ankle and take her down, but I think that at the angle that Manon throws it, she kind of steps back just enough to kind of slide her ankle away from getting pulled down or somebody grabbing it and taking her down. And it's just very quick. Like, it's very quick and powerful, like the way she throws it. So got to throw that side kick to the midsection here to really take the gas out of Jennifer Maia, at the same time to keep her range so she can think about what her next move will be. Next, I'll say for Manon is to fight on the inside in close quarters, and do it smart. I'd say one thing is Manon Fiorot is a very, very strong flyweight, and I would like to see her get those underhooks a few times just to kind of wrestle Jennifer Maia to the cage and press her and land some knees to the body and get off those elbows. I would love to see her actually initiate a couple of tie clinches here and work those knees to the body. I think that's going to be a very big part of it. If you want to stop somebody like Jennifer Maia, you got to stay consistent with the firepower. You can't give her time to recover because Jennifer Maia is very durable, and I think when she takes a couple shots, she's good to go. But if you keep it coming, you keep it coming on her, that could overwhelm her and take her into deep waters to where she'll just run out of gas and she'll possibly get stopped. So I'd like to see Manon in this fight not necessarily go to the ground, but just kind of utilize her strength here, put it on Jennifer Maia on the cage, and just work the body with knees. Work the body in little spots here and there, then go right back to controlling it with her long kicks from a distance. For Jennifer Maia, though, number one, to get anything done, she's going to have to commit. Like, Jennifer Maia has some decent boxing. I said this in the past, but the more and more I've been watching her these past 3 fights, I'm like, she ain't committing enough. Like, she's staying too basic here. Like, girl could have a good left hook if she would just throw it, right? If she would just throw it more and set it up. But, her basic 1-2 is very solid. So one thing I'll say is she has to commit all around. She has to commit to letting her hands go, mixing up her combinations, and just letting it flow. And that's something I don't think she does enough of. Like I said, if you give it to her, she'll take it. Like against JoJo Calderwood. When she fought JoJo, when she would step in, she would land that overhand right on JoJo, and she was landing some good shots before she got it down to the ground, right? So I think in this fight, she just needs to box a little bit smarter, stop being so basic, and when she steps in, let the hands go, commit to those power shots. Another thing I'll say is you've got to, for Jennifer Maia, going back and looking at some of the fighters like Maia Silva, where they messed up, you got to use good straight punches down the pipe, which of course goes back to committing. You have to commit to those shots, because when Manon steps in, you can land that straight jab in her face, because sometimes Manon's head is on the line when she steps in. So I would say you need to land those straight shots to the chin. So for Jennifer Maia, you got to keep them straight and simple, and of course commit. But the one thing I think she'll really need to do in this fight is take it down to the ground. Take it down to the ground, because we know Manon is going to be moving. I think she's the faster fighter here. She's the more athletic fighter, the more fresher of the two. So need to see her get this fight down to the ground. Jennifer Maia's got to get this fight down to the ground. I think, of course, her jiu-jitsu is better, so she needs to get this fight down in the first round, second round, and the third round, so she can go for that submission, because I think that's the smartest move for her. Like, I don't know why she didn't use it against Jessica Ai. She didn't use it against Caitlin Kagan. She didn't use her jiu-jitsu in either of these 2 fights. Caitlin actually took her down and almost submitted her, right? So I think she needs to initiate those takedowns, get this fight down to the ground, and grapple where she's the much more superior fighter, right? So, yeah, those are the keys to victory for Jennifer Maia. How I see this fight going, I think early on, you're going to see Manon, she's going to test her range a little bit in the first minute or so. I think Manon is going to see what Jennifer Maia has to offer. But the minute Jennifer Maia doesn't start throwing anything, you're going to see Manon start popping jabs off, letting those straight left hands go. And as the round progresses, she's going to start to speed up like she does. She's a brutal fighter. She likes to be dominant. So she's going to be looking to dominate Jennifer Maia any way she can, whether it's those kicks to the body or just straight left hands to the face. You're going to see her maybe let Jennifer Maia lead the dance, but she's going to be landing check right hooks. She's going to be stepping to the side. I think she's going to be boxing well. She's going to be stabbing Jennifer Maia to the body with those kicks. Jennifer Maia might close in the distance in the first round a little bit to try to get the takedowns, but I think Manon is going to just push her off, shrug her off, go right back to controlling into the second and third round. I think you're going to see Manon pop off a lot of shots here that are going to overwhelm Jennifer Maia. And don't be surprised if Manon actually scoops her up and gets a takedown of her own just to kind of make a statement here. You know, same way Caitlin Kagan did, same way Manon did to Maia Silva. You might see her in close quarters where to get Jennifer Maia's respect, she might actually take her down here. So yeah, with that being said, I think Jennifer Maia, she might get a takedown or two. She might land a few good shots here and there whenever, you know, she can find that opening, and she could win a round. But I'm going to still have to go with, she could make it tough. I'm going to still have to go with Manon by decision in this one. I don't see Manon fully stopping her just because, you know, I think Jennifer Maia is that durable. You know, she is a very strong fighter. To get the stoppage, I think it's going to really take like a pinpoint accurate shot. You know, I think it's going to take a couple of pinpoint accurate shots to where Jennifer Maia just doesn't see him coming. And it's possible, but she's very strong, and there's just so many the top level fighters that they never came close to stopping her. I don't think Manon is going to come in here with that mindset where she's just going to be going for knockout. Of course, she wants to dominate, and she'll take it if it comes, but all the while, if the opponent doesn't show any weakness to falling from the knockout, I think overall she'll just probably try to 30-27 or so. Yeah, I think it's going to be a good fight, and I think Manon is going to pass this test just because of the way Jennifer Maia has been looking over the past few fights. And, you know, I still give Jennifer Maia respect as a fighter, but, you know, I think we just need some new blood up in here that can bring it on, and that's going to commit and show that IQ. You know, and that's another thing before I leave is Jennifer Maia has to commit to her IQ. You know, she needs to show that, hey, I know what to use in each situation, right? See, I think Manon has been doing a little bit more of that. Granted, Manon is the greener of the two, right? But Manon will come through and say, okay, this is what I need to use at this particular time, right? But Jennifer Maia has that trouble. So I'm going to have to go with the fresher fighter here, the fresher, more committed fighter. That's Manon by decision. Guys, let me know in the comment section who y'all got. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.